Hello everyone, this is Brooke Burchett. I'm here with BAP TV, where you can get the latest information on entertainment news, arts and culture here in the community of Pittsburgh and also beyond. Today we have a fabulous interview full of soul and funk with the phenomenal Zapp band. I'm here with the musical director, and we're going to ask him a few questions about what we can expect with tonight's performance, and just to get some background information on the group, some things that you may not have known before.
Oh.
So how are you today?
I'm doing just great. How about you, Miss Brotha?
I'm well. Would you like to introduce yourself and give a special shout out?
No, I wouldn't, but I will. Well, my name is Dale DeGroat. And I am music director for the group Zapp. I actually have been with the group since 1984. So, yeah, how many years is that now?
Ooh,
that's way back. Put me in the way back machine.
Well, we've been heard in the news about the recent passing of Don Cornelius.
Oh, my God.
How do you feel about that?
Well, you know, it's an amazing thing because when you start to look at it, and now I guess it's taken his passing for everybody to understand this. Mm-hmm. Before MTV, before VH1, mm-hmm. Before any of that, there was Soul Train. And see, I'm old enough that when we had TV when I was a kid, mm-hmm. Just a black person on TV, we would call each other and say, "There's a black person on TV," and to have this show with all black folks, to have all this music on there, and that was the time where we could start putting a face together with who these records were made by. So it was a brilliant thing. You know, the interesting thing about those shows and Soul Train and shows like it, usually when you do those shows, there is not you know, you don't really get paid for going on there. Mm-hmm. So you're just going on the show, and it costs to get on there. So, and when I say it costs, meaning their show is in California and we were in Ohio. Mm-hmm. So think about the expense of just trying to gather up a whole group of people going out there. So a lot of times you would not see the whole groups, but we happened to be out there and we were doing the show. And I remember talking to one of the band members about it, and he was saying, well, you know, if it's gonna, you know, cost that much, I don't really care about going on there. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I said, listen, you might not care about being on Soul Train, but your Aunt Rose and your Aunt Chick want to see you on television. You know, as musicians, we miss all these birthdays, and we miss soccer games, and you know, not there because when other people are off work is when they want entertainment. Mm-hmm. And so we can't usually enjoy the holidays and those things like the rest of the world, because that's when we're working, because we're the entertainment for when everybody else is off. But your families, what they did understand is that if you were on Soul Train, that's making it.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this: how do you feel about music today, and where music has gone from when you guys first got into the game to now?
Well, you know, first of all, it's a different game. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a different game, and it's interesting because nowadays, just like everything else, the technology has made it a different ball game. Mm-hmm. And so it used to be that in order to make a record, you had to have money, because you needed studio time. The tapes, even the tape that you recorded on was expensive. Not to mention the machines. When I first went to work with Roger and Zapp, he had built his own studios, $1 million studios, and just the mixing board was $100,000, and that was interesting. But now with Pro Tools and those things, a lot of people can make a record, and I like to say this about black folks. See, you have to be an entertainer around black folks, because they can sing and dance too. Right.
That's what we do on the holidays, you know, or any day when we get together, we perform.
And see, it used to be that the difference was that you had records and they didn't, but now they have records too. And it's just like anything else with basketball, because it's a cheap sport to play. There's a lot of folks that can play, so it makes that pool of people better. So now the athletes on top, they have to be even greater. So from that part of it, from the art of it standpoint, I'm seeing so many gifted gifted people. You know, in addition to doing R&B, I do a lot of gospel music too, and the choirs are getting better. And for us, most of the singers come out of church anyway. Right. So you know, you're sitting there listening to church on Sunday morning, and those singers are great. And so that means that everybody's got to kind of pick their level up. I love the guys. They usually credit us for the talk box and all that.
Right, I was about to ask you, how do you feel about some of the current artists that are using the talk box, and how it's kind of just like taken off? Even though Roger Troutman was known as like the founder of that particular type of sound. How do you feel about like T-Pain?
You know, imitation is the greatest form of flattery. Just like when they start wearing your earrings and your scarf and your red jacket, you know that you're making it a hat and cap. So everybody trying to get that sound now, because I'm in the music business, I can kind of tell the difference. You know, if you think about this, Roger Troutman, Zapp, we're Talkbox, Midnight Star, you know, Freakazoid, you know, that kind of one-note transformer, you know, that's more vocoder. And then you have T-Pain, who's more melodic, and he is more auto-tune, which starts out as a more or less as a pitch correction that we've gotten so used to. Now it becomes a form in itself. And I think what I think about it is it's a beautiful thing, because unless more people express themselves musically, and again, it's a compliment, I think that you have to embrace the technology. When I first started making records, we would go into the studio, and the first day we might have a drum beat and a bass line. We don't even have a song yet. We just have a beat and a bass line. And then we would listen to that and we'd think about it, as Quincy Jones or Michael Jackson would say. Then you would listen to allow God to step into the room. And so that inspiration would come. Nowadays, because it doesn't take that long to get your sounds anymore, you might be able to put together a track that sounds and feels good in a half hour, an hour, and right from there. So everything happens quicker now. But you know, you always have to, you know, look to your integrity. You have to stay prayerful, and you have to understand that quicker is not always better. It's just quick.
What would you say sets the Zapp band apart from any other music?
Well, I think the thing that sets Zapp apart is that we kind of bridge that gap. Roger actually had a record called Bridging the Gap, but our mentors and the people that we saw, not just George Clinton and funk bands like us, but the Temptations and all those groups that would dress up and do shows and choreography and clothes changes and excitement. Our mentors were people that thought that a show should be bigger than listening to a record. And remember that record dates me, but listening to a CD or a recording of it.
So you bring the music to life, is what you're saying.
Yeah, because really, you know, you can listen to the songs at home, but now we bring in all this visual. And let me say this too, because the new artists they do this as well. We, for y'all football fans out there, since Super Bowl's tomorrow, we call it the no huddle offense. You know, it used to be when we first started playing, somebody would play us. Well, first they'd explain what they're getting ready to play. They tell you what they're getting ready to play. This song was written in '64, and this is how it happened, and they play it. And you know, stopping after every song, and for us, and even with Roger, he had a rule: do not bore my fans. So we couldn't understand what all that discussion was about. Roger also had an expression, or he also say that you shouldn't have to tell people about music. A lot of times people will give you a demo tape and they'll say, well, here's my demo, but you know, I'm about to do this and I'm finna to do that, and after a while it's going to be, and he would always say, well, if you have to do all that, it's not ready yet. It's not ready for people to hear. Music you can hear, so you set it in front of somebody, you hit play, and you can hear it is what it is. And so, you know, it's and I guess what sets us apart is we kind of bring that to it. You know, I guess the bigness of it all, and we what we would call the no huddle offense is a whole lot of discussion between songs. You know, keep them going. And I would like to say that sometimes I would look at shows and I would say, well, how many songs did they do? I'm a music director, so I'm always trying to figure out what you remember about a show. Well, they did 8 songs. And for us, it's kind of like we might do one long song with one long song, but it's a medley of maybe 15.
Okay. So, since we're talking about what sets you guys apart, and you were saying that you bring the music to life, you put on a great show, what can people expect from tonight's performance?
Well, I tell you, for the people that come here, first of all, you can expect to have a good time. You can expect, and I always think this too, I think that you should get to know the artist a little bit better. It's something personal, so you can send a message that you want to send. So you can expect to be inspired. You know, we want everybody to know that with such great tragedies in our lives, that you can persevere and get through a thing. It's amazing that the line between a tragedy and a triumph, or a tragedy and a testimony, is so thin. It just matters where you stop. If you stop after the bad thing happens, then it's a tragedy. But if the tragedy was the beginning of something else, then it's a triumph story and it's a testimony. You can expect, and even though, you know, I myself, I'm pretty preacher, I'm a preacher. But one thing I respect about this is we're here to do a show, so you can expect to be entertained, and you should expect it. So you should expect to hear more bounce and computer love, and I'm gonna be your man. You know, you should expect to hear. I expect our fans to come to the show
with straight hair and leave out with ass. Right?
Come on, man.
Okay.
Come on. Okay. And I expect them to say, "That's my song."
So what would you say is the glue that keeps the Zapp band together, even after the loss of Roger Troutman and Larry Troutman?
Well, you know, there's a couple things. First of all, Roger, before he died, he started saying things, and he would say, "Well, you know, you really have a show." He said, "We don't need a show anymore. We have a show." He said, "You just have to, you know, do it now." And somebody like Roger, being our mentor, somebody that laid the foundation, let us always know that we had something to work with. Another thing was Larry used to talk about what you invest. A lot of people invest in things. But a lot of the time you're investing in the people. You know, whoever you work with and you spend the majority of your days with, really you're investing the most valuable thing you have, which is your time. One of the very few things that God doesn't promise you more of.
Right.
You don't know how much you have left. And now when you look back and you spent your time with this person or that person or with your family, you really invested in them. So we've got a lot invested in each other. We used to, because we built houses back in the day too, so we go to rehearsal at 5:30 in the morning, 5:30 to 7:30, and then go out and build houses till 3 o'clock. Now, you know, anything you're doing while everybody else is sleeping, you gotta be getting ahead.
Right. And you have to love it. It has to be a passion, something that you know, you breathe and you bleed.
Well, I tell people, you know, listen to every musician, listen to everything they say about you being in the music business. It's not stable, it's not going to work out, most people end up broke. And I used to say, as a young man, I used to say, if you can't reconcile the fact that this may very well end up with you sitting on a park bench broke with nothing but the memories of traveling the world and doing shows, if you can't live with that, you probably shouldn't be in the music business. And the people that are telling you not to go into it are not telling you that because they're haters. They're telling you that because they love you. And this is probably the way it's going to end up if you're not careful. Now, in this day and age, it's a different story too. If Zapp would have had the type of hits that they had in 80 and 85 and 86, if we'd have had those type of hits in 2008, you know, now black music, urban music, is pop.
Right.
So now it's just like Julius Erving didn't make the money that Michael Jordan made because the sport grew. Michael Jordan probably didn't make the money that Kobe made. Kobe doesn't make the money that LeBron makes because it's being international sport now, and that's how music is. Big now means Beyonce getting 100 million views on YouTube. You know, for us, 100 million?
So let me ask you, since we're going in that direction, I was watching The Unsung, and they did an episode or documentary on the Zapp band.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to know, even with all the hits that you have, the loving fans, And the people that are dedicated and really love your music, how did they come to that conclusion that you were considered unsung?
Well, when you think about it, we know who we know. We know who we know. So I know one of the first unsungs I had ever sang was the Clark Sisters. And a lot of people don't know the Clark Sisters, but I do. I know their songs. I could recognize a Clark sister by ear. But remember, just because we're beloved in a certain community, if you're not, we didn't have crossover records. We didn't have big pop songs. So there is a lot of America that doesn't know who Zapp or Zapp and Roger are. I was at a concert a couple years ago, and it was interesting because a guy he took somebody to a concert trying to explain to them who Zapp was.
Wow. How do you miss out on who the Zapp band is? I don't understand. I don't get it. But I guess, some people just were introduced at different points in time in their life.
And that's true. And when you think about it, I mean, the first Zapp hit record came out in 1980. So I'm not sure you were born in 1980.
I was born in 1987, but at the same token, I remember the records being played in my house. I remember, my grandmother, my mother, they enjoyed your music. So I'm familiar, and even till this day, there's still songs that we rock to, and enjoy. So.
And that's a good thing. So whenever I hear the songs, and actually I'm married to Shirley Murdoch, who was part of it, and the songs we make Computer Love, or I Can Make You Dance or Dance For, and then the rappers come along and they make You Got to Chill or whatever, they make off those songs, and Shirley and Roger would say, well, those are our songs of grandbabies.
Right.
Your record's having kids, so that's always a good thing. And a lot of times I think with some people, they know us, but they really don't know that they know us. You listen to Snoop Dogg or one of those guys, and here's a song that I know, but where have I heard this before? Yeah. And
so let me ask you this: what would you say to our viewers and to people who are watching this who don't really know the Zapp band? What would you say to them to give them just a feel, just a taste of who you guys really are?
Well, what I would say about it first is, I certainly believe in God, and one of the things that I would ask, I think God can let you do amazing things. After I leave this earth, the one thing I would like to do is come back and see a Zapp show.
Right.
I just like to see it. I've been a part of it, and I know what it's like from my part. I see everybody having a good time, but I'd like to stand in the audience and watch us do a show. There was I guess one of the greatest testimonials to the show is a lady came and saw us in Los Angeles. She said, well, when I came to the show, she said, I didn't want to like you. She said, I had to say, I didn't want to like you. Okay. She said, but after a while, she said, I noticed my arms started moving and started patting my foot. And before, I was acting just as crazy as the rest of them.
So you heard it here. When you come to a performance or show with the Zapp band, you may come in not wanting to rock, but when you leave, you will have your hair sweated out. You will have the party like it was you never partied before.
That's right.
So come through to the performance here at the Homewood Coliseum with the Zapp band. Listen to some great music, see some great artists, and just enjoy yourself and kick your heels up and have a good time.
That's right. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming through. And is there anything that you would like to say to our viewers before we exit out?
Well, yeah, and I would like to say this. We were always taught that when you come to concerts, we owe you. We understand you. We understand that sometimes with the tight as the economy is, sometimes you have to decide whether to go to concert or to pay your rent, delay your electric bill. So we feel like we owe you when you come through the door, and we're gonna make sure you get paid too. You're gonna get the show that you deserve. Remember too, in this time, as times get harder, that something good is around the corner for you. It's always darkest before the dawn, and just believe that God has a plan for you. You wouldn't still be here if He didn't. So I always want to just encourage everybody, keep your head up, come on out, and let's encourage each other. Amen.
Thank you so much for your time. This is your girl Brooke Brachette. I'm here with BAP TV. We're here interviewing the Zapp band. Stay locked and loaded. We have more interviews coming.
Mo. Hey, this is Dale Grove from the group Zapp, and I just want to give a shout out to Brother Ash, Productions. If it's not Brother Ash, it might not be entertainment. So keep a good look out. He's coming at you.
Hey, this is your girl Brotha. I'm here with BAP TV. I'm here with one half of the founding Troutman Brothers with the Zapp band and 1/3 of the Troutman Brothers as a whole. I'm here with Lester Troutman. How are you?
I'm wonderful. That's a heck of an intro. I love it. That was wonderful. Very, very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And the cameraman, you're doing a wonderful job. These lights are so bright and they're yellow.
Well, you never give me a little relax. So beautiful.
You know, I need it because, you know, as I explained earlier, you know, there's grease under the eyes, all that. But no, go ahead, let's do this.
Okay, so what can people expect tonight at tonight's show?
Peppermint. You smell like peppermint. Okay.
Good. Well, at least it's not smelling like some other stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay, look, we supposed to be serious. Look, let's get serious. All right, wait a minute. Check one, two. Tonight you can expect, look, a real fucking show. We're gonna be clean. We're gonna be laying it down. We're gonna be doing all the hits, more mouse and outs, dance floor, do I diddy, I can make you dance, so rough, so tough. I can make you dance. Somebody say that. I want to be your man. Computer love. Is that enough?
That's not enough. People want more.
Yeah, well, we're gonna be doing it probably for about 90 minutes. Okay. And like I said, we're gonna be changing clothes. We're gonna be putting on a full. If the people call us a funk and soul band, then we will be whatever they want us to be because we can put it down any way. Funk is a feeling. Okay. Soul is what you got. Either you got it or you don't. So we got soul and we got funk.
That's what it is. Okay, when you started your journey on your musical career, what did you envision your future to be?
Just like it is now. When I was 3 years old, I got up out of the bed one day. I said, now what I'm going to do is go around the world, come out to Pittsburgh, do an interview back here in a broom closet. No, man. Let me see. I didn't envision it being nothing like this. What I thought was, me personally, I thought that we were going to be just a local band to play in the bars and a few clubs and a couple sock hops back in the day. But my God, I had no idea that was going to be like this. This has been a wonderful ride. Let me tell you, wonderful ride. And to sum it up, if you want to make God laugh, tell God your plans.
You already have your plans.
You already got your plans. My God, I know it's going to be like this.
What would you say to someone who's interested in getting into the musical business?
What would I say to them?
Yes. What would be your word of advice?
Follow your heart. Never let anybody tell you what you can't do. And give God all the glory first. Seek God first, and the rest will come. Don't do it for money. Don't do it for fame. Don't do it for glory. Do it because it's right here. Do it from the bottom of your heart. Just do it. Do the dang thing. Just do it.
Okay, now we asked another member of the group earlier. I was watching the Unsung special that they did on the Zapp, and I wanted to know, I kind of found it interesting that they considered you unsung. So what would you say about that? Because I feel like you have, loyal fans, a lot of people love you, a lot of people love your music. So why would they consider you unsung, and how do you feel about that?
First of all, I feel wonderful about it.
Okay.
Wonderful. Why do they consider us unsung? Probably because for many years in our time of having a hit or having hits in the 80s, like you hear Cameo playing in the background, they were the first hits. They were considered, as you said, a funk and R&B group. Back then it was the soul charts or the black charts. Okay, and we always got to the top of the soul and black charts. Okay, and on this particular record that's playing now, black men crossed over and became a pop artist. And it wasn't until 1987 until we had our first pop record. That was I Want to Be Your Man, or it was Roger. And that was the only one that we had until probably late in the night, probably until the 90s, the 80s, Cameo, and we only went to the top of the black charts. So the rest of the world, or the white world, if you will, or the pop world, really didn't know who we were. So I guess that they considered us unsung because our records didn't make it as big as they thought they should have back in the day. But now, it is like.
So what would you like to say to someone who isn't necessarily familiar with the Zapp? What would you tell them about your group?
buy the records, buy the greatest hits, buy Zapp 1, Zapp 2, Zapp 3, Zapp 4, Zapp 5, the greatest hits, and then come to one of the shows. I guarantee you will get paid.
Okay. Now I have one last question for you. What do you think is the glue, or what would you say is the glue that keeps Zapp together after the loss of your two brothers?
God.
So you hear it here. Put God first.
No mistake, God. After that, the fans.
And then your love for the music, right?
That's probably way down the line, but God first, then the fans. And people coming to the shows, I guess that's the fans. And then the love for the music, absolutely. Yeah. And people who want to do interviews like you, who are so persistent and so beautiful, and smell like peppermint and Hitler.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for your time. As you hear it here, we're here with BAP TV at the Homewood Coliseum. We're getting ready for the Zapp band to perform. They're about to shut it down. They're about to make you dance and act a fool. It'll be like no other show you've ever seen in your life. So if you miss it, I don't even know what to say. You missed the best show that there's possibly is in the world. Thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful performance today.
God bless you. You're a great interviewer, and I love it. My goodness, this is one where you make me feel like a celebrity. This is Lester Trotman with the group Zapp, and I'm down with the Brother Ash Productions. And I'm down with the Brother Ash Productions. Make sure y'all check him out, because the brother can put it down. I think he writes, or sings, or break dances, or my girl.
In the house! If that's your testimony, that you've been through some rough times and some tough places, and you've been through those days where you didn't know what was going on with your job or with your children or with your family. But if you also know that you only made it because you had prayer in your life and God on your side, and you're not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, and you don't even care who's sitting next to you anymore, then I want you to stand out of your seat and make a whole lot of noise. Stand up and praise.
really appreciate y'all. We love y'all, and we really appreciate y'all for coming to the shows, buying the records, supporting us online, eBay, and texting, and all that other stuff. But most of all, Pittsburgh, we want to thank y'all for praying for us, because without prayer, would none of us be here. And we we haven't been here in almost 8 or 9 years, and I'm gonna tell y'all, it really feels good, really feels good to know that God is working in your life, because if he wasn't, we wouldn't be here. And we want everybody to know tonight that God is definitely working in all our lives. And for that, we want everybody in the whole place, even the people way in the back, to give yourself a round of applause one time, please. Please. Now, listen. Pittsburgh, listen. Can I talk to y'all for one more second here? Do y'all know that God is real? Yeah, he's real. Look here. 13 years ago, in April, 13 years ago, people said, there was a lot of people who said that the group Zapp was over, that we wouldn't be playing again, that it was washed up and we shouldn't even be on stage. But I'm going to tell y'all, because of God's love and because of his truth, we're here tonight praying for y'all. And I'm going to tell y'all something. This is for real. We for real, because we pray every day. And we just want to share that with y'all tonight. And listen, we want everybody in the whole place to do me a favor. Stand up in the air. Stand up. Stand up, everybody, way in the back. Please, everybody, even the back in the back. Everybody stand up for me one time. Come on. Now we want everybody to put your hands up, because we're going to do a little something here. Tonight is a very special night for us, okay? We want everybody here, listen, we're going to do two things. We're going to make a whole lot of noise, and we just going to give it up for God. And when I count to three, I want everybody in the whole place to be quiet, just shh, because we're going to give my brother, both of my brothers, a moment of silence, okay? So, right now, I want everybody in your loudest voice to jump up and down and just give it up for God. Right now, everybody, yeah!